Hello, welcome back again. We're looking at grappling at the minute. Not the jiu-jitsu side, but we're looking much more at standing grappling. Grappling that kind of ties in with pugilism. And so far we've looked a lot at grabbing my opponent, what I'm going to do in terms of locks, moving up and down the chain. We've looked at underhooks, overhooks, headlocks, kicking people and all the rest of it. We've done quite a lot. We're moving on to some more little individual bits to kind of finish off this. And the first one I want to look at is Chancery. Now Chancery is kind of unique to pugilism in that I'm specifically trying to hold my opponent in a lock, but only with one hand, so that I can keep punching them with the other one. Now Chancery comes from an old legal term where, it was like if you got taken into Chancery as the type of court, then you knew you were going to have a bad day because you were going to end up penniless, etc., etc. I don't know I'm not a great historian or legal person, but that's the story certainly I've been told. So the idea is if you can get somebody in Chancery, they are in for a bad day. So, sorry about this. So there's three real types of Chancery that you'll find if you start looking into this. The first of them, the first Chancery position, is where I'm going to use one hand to grab. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be looking to get the back of my opponent's head here, and my elbow kind of in against that kind of solar plexus or pec. And in here, I've got quite a lot of control over the body just with one hand. And obviously this leaves this hand here so that I can still be hitting my opponent. So I'm ragging them around and bang, bang, I can still be throwing in. That's a nasty one. You can pull them down onto an uppercut. So that's Chancery 1. It's not great, doesn't tie his arms up, he's going to still be hitting me. However, what I need to get used to doing is throwing that out as an action. So what I'm going to do is from my standard guard position, I'll do something like throw out a straight cross hook combo. So what he's expecting is, this kind of straight cross hook, and he's quite happily going to absorb that. The straight cross is just getting me in guard, and that's where I'm getting into my Chancery, bang, 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 before he gets the chance to recover. So I'm going to use that hook more as a way of getting into that first Chancery position. Okay, Chancery position 2 is much better. Chancery position 1 is one you're more likely to get, but Chancery 2 is better. So if I start from Chancery 1 in here, what I want to do now is push his head down, normally bringing the other hand up and pushing down, so that I can slip over the top into what would be a traditional sort of guillotine hold. If I was going to then find his throat and pull back, I can do all this kind of guillotine stuff to his neck here, but that's not a very Chancery way of dealing with things. I want to get underneath here so that I can keep hitting him. What I can also do is if I can get hold of his arm and push across and grab his own upper arm, I can hold him here and keep hitting him, and now his capacity to attack me back is greatly reduced. Sorry. So, as I said, I'm going to start off with my 1-2, bomb, bomb, get him in here, hit him in the face a couple of times, down in here, round here, keep hitting him. Yeah? And you can see this is where he's now having a bad day. Okay? There's one more Chancery position, but it doesn't flow from that same sequence. Oh, thank goodness. This one is what I would think of as a more traditional headlock. I'm going to have to drag you down to my height again, I'm sorry. Would be this more traditional headlock situation where I've got them, but their head is here. Now obviously this is great because I can keep hitting the head. Got to be a bit careful, this is quite a difficult area to hit because it's nice and protected, but the face is right here. It doesn't really tie up their arms greatly. I don't particularly like this as a position because I'm going to get hit in the kidneys from this other hand over here. It's going to keep hitting me. That hand's going to keep hitting me. It's not great. I mean, again, I can try to tie up this arm here, but it's not in any strong way. As soon as I loosen my grip to grab that arm, the head can slip easily back through again. So I don't really classify the third Chancery position as being particularly good. But the first two are a great way of getting in, holding my opponent and keep piling on some pain on them. So, hopefully that's Chancery. If you want to find out more about it, again, there's plenty on the internet. Go have a bit of a search. That's a lovely rabbit hole you can disappear down for a while. But it's a useful thing to be aware of and to throw into your boxing. So we'll catch you next week, and we'll be looking at some more little odds and ends to kind of tidy off and introduce you to some last little few more concepts before we move on from talking about grappling. So, have a good week. Catch you next week. Double use of week at the end, don't like that.